Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Real Shot 256. Thanks for joining. Today is June 13th, and today I want to talk about, besides just getting started with some technical analysis as we usually do with Bitcoin, Litecoin mainly, and we'll take a look at XRP as well. If you guys like me to include any of your favorite project coins, definitely let me know, and I can definitely take a look at those as well. But we're going to take a look also at some of the news. CCN decided to actually take a step back from their previous decision to close shop, and also Barry Silbert, having some words of influence, and also Tone Vays chiming in on that as well. Currently, the coin market cap, or I'm sorry, the market cap sitting at 263 billion, and 24-hour volume sitting at 62 billion. As I've been saying in this channel, if you guys have been following along, the 24-hour volume has kind of been stagnant, dwindling, and now just kind of stagnating in the 60,000 or 60 billion dollar range. Not really, no new money coming in, or no more than what we've seen in the past couple of weeks, which is worrisome to me because, again, anytime we see dwindling volume, trading volume here, it usually leads to a drop off in price. But not only that, it also leads me to believe that Bitcoin's last run that we've seen for the last, I don't know, 4 days, 5 days, just doesn't have enough legs really for a longer term run. And so, we could be seeing this sort of trend come to an end, and maybe hopefully, and I say that with, you know, with a grain, take it with a grain of salt when I say that. When I say hopefully it'll, um, come down to retest these levels, because I also want to talk to you guys about here in just a couple of minutes, after we're done with some TA here on Bitcoin. I want to talk to you guys about the difference between Bitcoin and Litecoin. What the biggest thing, I think, in my opinion, the biggest factor as to why Litecoin has been able to run like it has in the last couple of months versus Bitcoin, kind of stagnating at this price point in the high 7,000s, low 8,000s. We'll talk about that, but yeah, right now Bitcoin is just stagnating, not really doing much, a lot of indecision here. But at the same time, on a positive note, it is building support and resistance here for future price action. So anytime we come back from a dip, or come back down from maybe the next run up in price, if we go back to test 10,000, 11,000 price levels, then this is definitely going to be an area where Bitcoin is going to, find a lot of support and maintain price action. If it does not, for some other reason or a stronger reason, does not decide to pierce through this area of support and come back down again. That is after it finally does decide to retest this golden pocket area right below the 0.5 and the 618, where a lot of people are going to be buying, a lot of support is going to be found in here. So taking a look at that, also the 4-hour RSI. Let's expand on that a little bit. 4-hour RSI kind of ticked to the upside actually, and got out of the neutral zone and into the more bullish territory. And this is on the 4 hour. So I mean, we should see a little bit of a move here, just because the momentum is pointing to maybe to the $8,200 range. Right now we're sitting currently at 81 and a half, sort of. So we should see Bitcoin try the 8250, which we really want to definitely try and close a 4-hour candle around the 8250 range. And if we do that, then there's the possibility of Bitcoin actually going to 83, $8,400 is much likelier at that point. But we do need to see those closes above, again, 8250 on a 4-hour at least. And then, if we do that, then we'll go from there. But that would definitely look much more promising than what it's looking like right now. Um, but yeah, so right now, just a lot of indecision, a lot of accumulation here, building a lot of support, and it's definitely, it goes back to what Bitcoin did here back in 2018. Um, gosh, didn't mean to do that. We'll fix it later. about kind of what it did here in the high 5,000s to $7,000 range where currently Bitcoin is trading. We do see here, actually, we can use another trend line here. We see that Bitcoin was trading in between this channel here and built up a lot of base. I mean, you can see how much support there is here in this range, and that's kind of what we're doing here, but on a higher note. In fact, why don't we bring this one down a little bit so we can show sort of the same pattern, the same kind of scenario that we do see here. There's going to be a lot of support and resistance built here again for future price action if we're coming back from a dip or coming back down or coming up from a dip and coming back down from a price hike, price surge. So not entirely a bad thing, although it does make for a kind of a boring market. You can't really short or long right now. There's nothing really going on. I mean, you could technically mm, snipe something, but not don't expect to make big gains right now. It's just because Bitcoin is really just consolidating here and building a base. So um, there's some positives and negatives in that. So take it as take it with a grain of salt, and let's just sit here and wait for Bitcoin's next move. I'll take a sip of water here. Hmm. All right, let's take a look at Litecoin. Oh, in fact, before we do that, I do actually want to look at get a little more granular with Bitcoin here. Let's go to so on a 4 hour here, Bitcoin again, right above the 30 simple here, and this is my gray line, so that would be my 200 simple. Kind of holding Bitcoin down currently. Although the price action, we did close a 4 hour candle right above the 200 simple. So, and you can see currently Bitcoin's trying to grind up above the 200 simple. And if we do that, then that's it's going to look like we have a lot less resistance here in these price ranges. So we could potentially again, it's looking like we will test the 8250 and maybe close a 4 hour candle above there. And again, based on the 4 hour, and then we have the RSI crossing up again into the upside. So momentum indicators do kind of point towards that. So let's pay attention today and see if we can close above the 8250, kind of right here. It's actually not that far from it right now, so we could potentially see that. Hopefully, if it sticks above the 8250 mark for 4 hours, then that'll be a great sign. Taking a look at the daily, also ticked into the more neutral zone, but if we do again come up to test the 8250 price range, then I think we'll get more of a erect uptake here with the RSI, and definitely go test some higher levels. So it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty bullish right now in the short time. So maybe we can take back the argument that it's been pretty boring, and you might actually want to go long on this right now, um, if you're into longing and shorting. So not financial advice, just kind of my opinion and what I would be thinking. Let's take a look at the weekly. So daily looks pretty bullish. Weekly also looks very bullish. Looks like we can come back and maybe retest this area. Now I've been thinking, guys, as of late that here's what I think we're going to do actually. We should set we should close this weekly candle here on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to close this weekly candle, but I think we're going to close right below this prior weekly candle, and just start to make like a lower high and start making a decline, and again to come back and have a nice healthy retracement into the golden pocket area, right below the low 6,000, 6,200 to about the $57,000 or $5,700 range. We should come back and retest those areas. Actually, it's yep right here. So again, between the 5 and the 618, there is going to be a lot of support here. So definitely looking to pick up some more Bitcoin at that point. All right, so that's pretty much what I got. It's looking pretty bullish right now. Looks like we can definitely make a run for higher price action. So we'll leave it at that. And then now let's take a look at Litecoin. And again, my main interest here is to show you guys the main difference between Litecoin and Bitcoin. Let's take a look at here quickly at the 4 hour again. It's looking pretty bullish. It's sitting in between the 21 and the 30 simple here. Not a bad place at all. This is on a more shorter time frame. 4 hour, it does look like it's the RSI showing oversold, way oversold. So we could, and again, although the indicator is telling us that, it does not mean that it can't go lower. It actually can, and it has in many occasions. But taking a look at the recent history here, anytime it's hit these lower levels, we definitely have seen Litecoin react in a very positive and very bullish way, and coming back up to retest new highs each time. So we did it back here. And then we did it back here. Yep, and then we did it again back here after this dip. Come back and retest those highs. We set a new high right here, setting new highs along this range here, and then again new high here, and again new high here. So it's been sitting in the look at the 4 hour again. It's been sitting in the oversold area here for quite a bit now, longer than it has in the recent past. So I do want to think, I do want to lean that if we do get across up here on the on the stochastic RSI, if we do get across to the upside, I think we definitely are going to come back into the more neutral zone, and then from there, I think the bulls can take over and take us into the overbought region, the very bullish zone, and definitely see Litecoin make a higher high than this past high of we'll call it 142 and a half. And yeah, so it's definitely looking very bullish. Again, the psychological factor, I told you guys about this last video. The psychological aspect of trading has kind of taken over at Litecoin at this point. A lot of investors know about the halving, and the word is spreading around. If you are on Twitter or any type of social media, then you must have seen by now the news, and everybody's kind of talking about this, saying the halving is coming, and it's about three. Actually, no, it's actually about maybe 7 weeks away, 6 or 7 weeks away, and so it's going to be this is going to continue on in this trend for the next month and a half, tops, maybe 2 months, sort of a buy the rumor, sell the news. Although this is a fact, this is something that's happening, so it's a little bit different. People can get a lot more bullish on this because it is a fact. It is something that is definitely happening. It's programmed into the code, so it's definitely something that people can not just speculate, but just be certain that this is going to happen. And so people are definitely jumping on board and taking advantage. Hopefully you are too. I actually started trading sub 100 levels, and I mean, just like we just kept on building and building more and more momentum. Taking another sip of water here. Sorry, guys. So the biggest difference, I think, let's take a look at the daily. The biggest difference here with Litecoin is is this here. We'll take a look at the weekly chart as well. I think it paints it a little bit better, but right now on the daily, it looks absolutely bullish as well. I mean, just coming back to have a healthy retest of not even a prior low, just kind of in between the last couple of days, just kind of in between this daily candle here. So not really testing this low over here, or not even a low. It's just continuation of the same, but not even close to be testing the 30 simple over here. So I mean, definitely looking bullish. I mean, it could potentially on the daily come back down and retest this, but I mean, it looks like it doesn't even want to do that. Although the RSI on the daily looks like it wants to cross over to the downside and into this more neutral territory. If it does, Just depending on what we see with Bitcoin as well. If Bitcoin does decide to take a massive dump, then we can see Litecoin kind of following that. Hopefully not too harsh. I mean, it has sustained those dumps from Bitcoin pretty well. Again, because of um, the latest updates with Litecoin. So we're hoping that it's gonna do kind of the same thing and just stay resilient, not really pay too much attention to what Bitcoin's doing, and kind of keep doing what it has been doing, kind of doing its own thing. So, so yeah, and then so this is the biggest difference in my opinion, right? Looking at the daily, the weekly will show it as well, but looking at the daily, we'll use part of this wick here because I think it's important to do that on this scenario. But it did have a 30% retracement already, very healthy. Gave Litecoin some time to breathe, some time to gather itself and regain some legs, get its legs underneath Litecoin, and then we saw this massive just continuation of a bull run. But again, not before having a nice healthy correction. And then if we go on the daily as well, Bitcoin, it just hasn't done that. It just hasn't had time to stop and breathe and regather itself. This is the most we've seen here, and let's take a measurement, make a measurement on it. We'll use part of this wick here because we are on a daily. I mean, it's only about a 13. We'll just leave it at 14%. 14% retracement. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. And I mean, I think it really needs to have a nice, healthy, significant correction. At least have that 30% like Litecoin did. I'm looking more for a 30 to 40%, but more and more, I it just looks like it's not going to be that harsh of a or that drastic of a correction. I think once we get into this golden pocket area, if we actually put a measurement on it, let's take a look from where it's at now. Um, we could look at another 26% um, uh, correction here into the golden pocket, actually the bottom of this golden pocket in the $5,700 range. And that's, that would be very healthy in my opinion. That would actually give Bitcoin that recharge and energy it definitely needs right now. Again, not entirely a bad thing because it is building some support and some resistance there for future price action. But um, for the definite longer term of things, I do think it would be very healthy to have that correction. Um, and so that is the biggest difference. And I mean it goes to show, right? The proof is in the pudding. It goes to show that Litecoin has done that, has had that healthy retracement. It has regathered itself, and now look where we're at. I mean, and again, it just really helps that we're so close to the halving of Litecoin. So and who knows? You're definitely going to see a correction after during that period of time where Litecoin is really close to the actual event or right after it. You're definitely going to see a correction. A lot of people are going to take some profits there and just watch Litecoin come back down. But overall, I think in the long term of things, I am still bullish on Litecoin. After that correction, Litecoin can definitely recover some of its prior highs and go back and retest those areas. But that's more of a longer term. That's maybe more towards the third quarter of this year. Mm. That's kind of where I see it. All right. So enough of that. Let's go to um, XRP and just taking a look at it. XRP it's just one of those things that is sort of disappointing in my view. We had the golden cross back here at the end of May, and things were looking pretty good. Retraced, started to come back down, and I thought it actually. I mean, it actually technically it did retest these areas, these prior high areas, but then right around here is when Bitcoin decided to take a big nasty dump of about 12%, and I mean just stifled XRP's run, and I mean really just rained on the parade here, and pretty much squashed any real any real opportunity for XRP to make a nice run and test some highs again. I did enter a trade into that, so I'm definitely bummed out that this happened. But that's kind of what the market is when you don't control your own destiny and everything's contingent upon what Bitcoin does, right? So um, and that's true for everybody in the market except for Litecoin right now. So definitely be careful, be cognizant of that. Be careful out there when you're trading. Take those things into consideration. And looking at this is the daily chart. It's also been sitting in the oversold range here for quite a while, and although it did have a cross to the upside and is trying to get into the more neutral zone, it doesn't have the volume behind it. It doesn't have the support behind it. Again, even though it had the golden cross back here, we're not seeing XRP having a real reaction and just following along with what we technical analysts think should have been the catalyst for some nice um, some nice price action to the upside. So not the fact that it hasn't done it again. I know that it is contingent upon Bitcoin, but it's just disappointing that it hasn't broken through that barrier that Bitcoin is. But it is looking a little bit promising again. We're gonna have to find some volume out of somewhere. Come on, XRP Army, you guys can do something here and pump this. For full disclosure and transparency, I actually exited my XRP trade, so um, it doesn't. It really has no bearing on me. If you guys want to pump this back. So mm, taking a look at a more granular XRP chart, currently sitting below actually above the 21 and 30. The 55 though is definitely right there, just kind of holding XRP down, keeping it honest. But if we can have and the RSI is had a flip to the turn to the downside and is going into the more neutral zone. With if we don't have an uptick in volume and some obviously some buying pressure right here right now, I think we do get into this neutral zone and possibly, you know, come back and retest some lower ranges like right here. We're going to find some support here, but it could potentially retest the not only the 200 EMA down here, but also this price 38.6. We're going to call it 38.6, and then from there we do see the purple 200 EMA coming in around here. I'm sorry, that's the 377. Sorry about that. The 377 coming in around here, around 37 cents. We could potentially come down to retest these areas, especially if we see Bitcoin, again, have a turn to the downside. And we'll just take a quick look at the 3 hour. 3 hours is actually pretty good too. I mean, I do hold some weight. It does hold some water. 3 hour chart. Right now, it does look like the pressure down definitely into the more neutral zone. Again, if the bears do catch it and we do lose some purchasing volume, then again definitely we'll come back to test the 21 and the 377 down below. All right, so let's actually wrap it up with the TA for now. And again, if you guys want me to look at another coin, definitely let me know. Something that you're into. I don't have a problem as long as I mean I don't have any conditions actually. So just send it over in the comments. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. So Barry Silbert has been in the news recently, talking some good things, and I wanted to read this to you guys. So, in his opinion, the crypto winter is likely to be ending, said Barry Silbert from DCG in an interview with Bloomberg Technology recently, as of June 11th. Barry Silbert, the DGG founder and CEO, outlined the cyclical nature of the ups and downs of major cryptocurrency Bitcoin, which allegedly means that the recent surge of crypto prices would only continue. Silbert, who is known as a serial crypto investor, specifically pointed out that Bitcoin's price dynamics have been quite a roller coaster, which is true, with its price having dropped 80% 4 times since 2011, only to hit another all time high afterwards. Based on this, combined with the recent surge of markets after a massive bear market of 2018, Silbert stated that it looks like perhaps we are coming out of the crypto winter and we've entered into a crypto spring. You guys, this is something that I've been preaching for the last few weeks. I actually, if you go back and look at probably I think it was the last video of May, I said that, we're definitely, I think we can definitely call the end of a bear market officially, and into and not quite a, I wouldn't say a bull market, but definitely we're in a transitional phase where we're definitely coming out of the bear market and then into more of a neutral zone, and we do again see it here in the price action. If we take a look at the daily chart, we do see again that we're building a base above, this prior base down here in this price range between these two trend lines here. We did build a lot of support back in 2018, and now we're building support above that price range in between these two trend lines, up here above the 7100 or low 7000s to the low 8000s. So it's a pretty good sign, that again we're building that support and resistance, that price action just building up here, a lot of confluence in this area. So again, it's not a bad thing, and it is indicative of what Barry Silbert and myself at this channel have been preaching for, for the last couple of weeks, last few weeks. We're seem to be out of the bear market and into a more neutral zone, if you will. So going on, the DGG executive also pinpointed the large involvement of institutions in the crypto industry, claiming that it has grown tremendously. Agree. Since the last bull market of 2017, when Bitcoin hit its all-time record of 20,000, citing big institutional crypto initiatives such as the upcoming Bitcoin custody offering by Fidelity. Very true. Silbert has said that the institutional involvement of 2017 compared to the current interest of institutions is really night and day. Would have to agree there. We definitely didn't have Fidelity. We didn't have E-Trade. We didn't have what is it, TD Ameritrade. Um, we didn't have, let's see, Backed, who is, hasn't opened, but they are going to be the first physically settled futures contract platform. The Backed is again owned by ICE, the same company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. So very promising there. I mean, and just a um, fleet of traditional market investors coming into the space and venturing out into crypto. So we definitely didn't have that. So it just the future of this new new, call it, future bull market is very promising, having all these traditional market players coming into the space and bringing along a lot of money into the space. So definitely very promising. So also earlier this year, Silbert had predicted that the majority of digital tokens will lose their value in long term. Also agree with that, claiming that almost every initial coin offering, ICO, was just an attempt to raise money, but there was no real use case for the underlying token, which is true. I mean, a lot of these ICOs that came out in 2017 just had no business really in the crypto sphere. Just a lot of money grabbing, a lot of scams. A lot of people getting wrecked, unfortunately, because of that. So and we're still not in my opinion, we're still not at a place where a lot of these fake projects have been squeezed out of the market. They're still somehow, some way, still making money off of their fake ICOs. But that hopefully um, will deplete itself some more after, especially after we see a correction here from Bitcoin. I think that'll definitely help wash off a lot of the bad players in the space. Surprisingly, I thought NEM from Asia was a legitimate project, but even them had some financial issues and were calling for the community, the NEM community supporters, to help them fund for for them to be able to stay alive. So even legitimate projects, or what seems to be legitimate projects, are having some financial issues, and that's just something that needs to happen, in my opinion, to wash off the bad actors in the crypto sphere. So not necessarily a bad thing, and also will be indicative of a more definite start of a new bull market. Mm. Uh, Definitely thirsty this morning. So, and also recently, former J.P. Morgan executive and current blockchain quote unquote researcher Tone Vays expressed skepticism about the supposition that the crypto winter is over. In opposition to Silbert, Vays argued that the recent spike in crypto prices was mainly supported by internal capital, which he considered shaky in comparison with external money coming into the space. Now, I'm going to have to disagree there with Tone Vays. He's also gone into social media as of recent times and actually placed a wager that Bitcoin was going down to hit $2,000 price. Again, putting a wager on that, and Tone Vays just kind of setting himself up as the ultimate perma bear. And I couldn't disagree with him anymore. I think once we do come into this golden pocket area where we're going to find a lot of support here in this price range between the 5,700 mark and the $6,200 price range, we're going to see a lot of bots, a lot of retail, a lot of savvy investors buying up the price at these levels. And then if we do break this major level of support, we do have this trend line coming in right below it that will also act as major support. Looking at the daily here, and then we also have the simple 200 down here, and we have this level of support at the 786. Um, and then if we would have to break again through the 618, through this trend line of support, that we have the 200 simple coming down here, and also we have the 786. So we have plenty of support in those price ranges. I don't think we're going to see another $2,000 Bitcoin. Honestly, maybe not in our lifetime. I am a um, I am a super bullish. I am super bullish on Bitcoin, and I think we have seen. I was skeptical prior to April. I was kind of on the bandwagon that we were going to see a low 3,000 Bitcoin to maybe high 2,000s Bitcoin in the near future. But that the recent, again, price action from April till now has me believing that it is. I think that is completely out of the picture now. We might see 4,000. That's certainly something that we can do, and it would say a significant low, and but nonetheless it would be a higher low, and again that would be still a healthy correction. Will shake out a lot of the bad projects, a lot of the bad actors in the sphere, in the crypto sphere, and then just propel us for future price action. Um, bigger highs, and just overall just testing these prior highs that we saw back in 2017, and yeah, so it'll definitely be healthy. So let me know what you guys think. Leave it down in the comments, and we can definitely talk about that. So, moving on, last news of the day: CCN makes a U-turn of shutting down their platform. CCN, cryptocurrency news outlet, has decided to change its abrupt shutdown decision. One staff from the company has confirmed, due ongoing Google indexing debacle. CCN published a warning on Monday stating that it would soon cease all operations, but now it has U-turned as it tries to understand how the changes would affect the online visibility. After Google's updated its algorithm, CCN supposedly experienced a 70% drop-off in traffic, making its executives have little choice other than to abandon the project. Since the time Google's algorithm reportedly flagged articles that were under CCN's old crypto coins news identity, the firm has reconsidered to change its total shutdown plans. So um, good and bad. So the good is, CCN, in my opinion, is a solid source of crypto news. I follow them on Twitter. I usually get their updates. I usually get their news, and they seem to be a pretty legit publishing. However, I do think, looking at this through my skeptical lens here, I do think that this might have a little bit of a marketing scheme play because no news is really bad news, and if you get a lot of airplay and you get your competitors to talk about you, then it's just more publicity coming your way. So I do see this as sort of a stunt. Um, One, you shouldn't rely on just Google for your entire business model, right? Who does that? Who would put all their marbles, all their eggs into the Google basket? You need to find other sources. How about ad revenue? How about that? How about sponsorships? There's so many ways that you can make money as an online editorial, and it just seems too fishy to me. Again, I'm here to this channel is to really try to um, debunk a lot of these myths and a lot of these fallacies that do come up on a daily basis in the crypto sphere. Again, being such a nascent, such a new market, we do see just a lot of illegitimate players just throwing out some outrageous comments and statements that unfortunately not as and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. There's just a lot of lack of education, a lot of uneducated folks that are new to this crypto sphere. Not that they're uneducated or ignorant. I just think they haven't built the proper criteria or the proper mindset to know what is true and what is not. So yeah, that's kind of what we pride on here at this channel. That's kind of what we want to do. We want to inform the crypto investor, the retail investor mainly, and let you guys know what is good, what is bad, and then have a discussion about it. So um, definitely let us know what you think of the news. If you guys agree or disagree, maybe you have some insider information you want to share with the rest of the group. Put it down in the comments. I'll talk about it on the next video. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Definitely let me know what you'd like to see. As I said, I don't mind looking at other projects. I usually stick to the top 10, top 15 projects, just because I'm a low risk, quote unquote low risk, right? Because we are in cryptocurrency market. So um, I do try to stay with the higher market cap coins, just because again, safety reasons and also liquidity reasons. If you want to exit a position at a certain point, you have to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're stuck and can lose a lot of money. So that's all I got for you guys. Definitely let us know how you're feeling about the channel. If you want to give us a like, go ahead and do so. If not, it's okay. It's understandable. But definitely, let us know how we're doing. We love the feedback. So thanks, guys, for joining again. This is The Real Shaw. Follow us on Twitter and also on Instagram. We do post daily content there. The Real Shaw 256. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.